Hey there everybody. This is C from C Mods. I'll have to explain a couple of things before getting started. This video was originally planned to have my voice, but because of ongoing technical difficulties and my inability to properly use OBS when it comes to audio input devices, I'll be using TTS Daniel to compensate. I know it's not the best way, but I watch enough videos of people using it, and I find it pretty funny, so I'm fine using it. I hope everyone else is okay with this until I fix everything. Also, my PC started to have some other issues, the most prominent being my graphics card drivers crashing whenever I tried to stream or record videos and clips. But that's partially fixed, so it isn't much of an issue now. With that explained, let's get to the topic at hand. As many of you know, Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks is one of the greatest Mortal Kombat games ever made, but it is lacking in terms of real tutorials about how to do cool stuff, because there aren't tools or resources to dig into advanced modifications to the characters, levels, cutscenes, and all those things typical PC games have. Even one of the games from the 3D era, Mortal Kombat Deception, is recently getting a huge mod with tons of updates, called Ultimate Mortal Kombat Deception, courtesy of the user known as Ermaxer. So, as the leader of a new small scene of modding, it is my duty to properly introduce anyone interested on the subject. Make no mistakes, my methods are, by no means, flawless, or, dare I say, reliable most of the time, but I got used to find multiple ways to surpass the limitations that these methods bring to the table. By the end of this series, whenever that happens, you'll be able to do things, such as, new movesets, new versus mode levels, adding non-playable and unused characters to be playable, manipulating the camera to create new perspectives, fun gimmicks, making references to other MK games through messages or events, messing around with, creating and expanding game modes, creating your own fights and boss battles, making quality of life fixes, among other neat stuff. If any of the previous things gets you interested enough to give it a shot, let's go to the requirements of this episode. Now, let's take a look at what you need in order to follow this video. A working PC that can at least run PS2 games at a decent speed, so you don't lose time watching the game at slow motion. A program called Cheat Engine, which will be used to find things inside the game. The PS2 emulator known as PCSX2, in this specific version. This is extremely important, since this version doesn't cause issues, unlike the newer nightly builds. A clean copy of Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks for PS2, the North American version, since this is the one I'm familiar with. Being the first video in the series, this will serve both as an introduction to the modding scene of the game, and an entry point to Cheat Engine itself, for those who come here without knowing how to use it at its most basic level. I also recommend using Notepad or anything to write down things that you don't understand, in case that for whatever reason, you can't come back to the video, at least you'll get the information and all of the theory explained. First off, let's set up everything to get started. To download Cheat Engine, you go to your browser and type the following website. Click the download section, and click the first link labeled as Download Cheat Engine. Always make sure to get the latest version. Your PC will probably detect it as malicious software, but it is simply because this program allows you to modify memory in real time. Ignore any warnings and proceed to install it whenever you want in your PC. The second step is getting the PS2 emulator, which can be downloaded from PCSX2.net. Remember this, you want to download the latest stable version, or you won't be able to continue with this tutorial. I recommend the portable version, since you don't need to go through the installation process and run the program straight away. I cannot provide the additional files required to run the emulator, nor the game itself, for obvious reasons, but a quick search may do the trick. Just make sure you know which websites you use to get everything working. With both programs prepared and the game ready to go, let us proceed to the tools and options we'll be using within Cheat Engine. When you open the program and ignore the built-in tutorials, you'll see this. Look closer to that glowing icon to the top left of the screen. You click that option to attach the emulator's process to Cheat Engine. To do that, scroll down through the process list until you find either one of these. Regardless of which one you choose, a couple of new sections will be unlocked to look at. Under Memory Scan Options, we will set the start and end point of the memory within the game to search stuff. Copy the values you see on screen to set it up properly. Now, take a quick look at the section above and be ready to write down. In order to understand how to find things, we need to know what they are and how the game reads them. This section will explain bytes and value types. Pretty much everything you see when you play the game is a value, which can be any number from 0 to whatever this number is. Those numbers inside the game's data are called bytes. We will focus on 3 types of values: 1 byte, 2 bytes, and 4 bytes. The recommended format used to display them through Cheat Engine is known as hexadecimal, or hex for shorters. The hex format morphs regular numbers into a combination of numbers and the 6 first letters of the alphabet. Usually, we use numbers from 0 to 9, but this format goes from 0 to F. Counting from 9 to 10 in the regular format isn't much of a hassle, but in the latter case, 10 becomes A, 11 becomes B, and so on, until it reaches the 16th number. Adding one more will result in 10, but in reality, that number translated to the regular format is 16. Try to get used to it, because after this first tutorial, pretty much everything will be used with hex format, with the exception of a couple of things. Having established the format, we can go through the different type of values we can encounter during our epic search for useful things. 1 byte values can range from 0 to 255, or have a maximum of 2 digits. 2 byte values increase the limit to 65,535, or 4 digits. And finally, 4 byte values can go as high as that large number mentioned before, or a maximum of 8 digits. With all of this explained, we will now go back to Cheat Engine and apply what we learned through the previously unlocked section. We are reaching the final section of this first tutorial, how to actually find and modify stuff through the scan functions of Cheat Engine. When we have the new sections, this is what we will look at. Here, we can establish what type of value is going to be utilized. There are a lot of options, but if you've been paying attention, our main focus are the 3 different bytes explained in the previous segment. Using 1 byte is the hardest of the 3. Using 2 bytes is not that difficult. And finally, 4 bytes is the easiest way to search, especially values such as the following example, player 1's EXP points. Here, we will choose what kind of search is going to be done. There are a couple of extra options, but our main focus for the example will be this one. You use it whenever you know exactly what value you're looking for. This section here is where you input the values to search. You can also toggle on and off this checkbox to switch between hex format and regular format when looking around for stuff. Having established the value and scan types, you click this button called First Scan to begin. When scanning for values, you will need to do a few things in the game to make it change and track it. Since we're using EXP points as an example, defeating an enemy will do the trick. Once the changes are done, we'll continue this chain of scans by typing the new value and clicking Next Scan. Do not accidentally hit First Scan, or you'll lose whatever progress you have until this point. Having exact values for what we're searching will drastically reduce the amount of results with following scans, like here. We went from over 6 million results to barely 250. This means we are closer to the correct code. Keep making the value change and doing following scans until you have, in the best scenario, a single code. If you reach this point, we will proceed to add the recently found code to the lower half section of the program. Right-click it, and select the first option. Adding codes to the mentioned lower half of the program will let us organize. Stop vibing to the music for a second. Just kidding, this song is a banger. Adding codes to the mentioned lower half of the program will let us organize, rename and save them for future uses, as something called cheat table. Usually, it won't be that easy to find the exact code, so what we're going to do is make one last change inside the game to double check if we got the correct one. I recommend to always name your codes, so you know which ones you're using. And lastly, a quick look at the sections you can customize with whatever codes you added. Address equals to the codes, and you can view or modify the digits if you know what you're doing. Here, you can manually edit the values. Here, you are able to switch between the different types of values. And this one is to simply change the description to better organize your cheat table. Now, go to the top left corner, click File and select this option. Give your cheat table a name. And we're done. If you reached this point into the video, congratulations, you've made the very first steps into this long journey of a series we have to go through. I know some, if not most of you are probably asking, Mr. C, can you tell me what in the ever-living fuck is there is a good reason as to why it took me more than 3 years to finally start this series, ever since I began with modding in general for this game, long before I even uploaded videos to the channel in the first place. And I'm not even sure how many episodes I'd have to make in order for you guys to reach my current level. Heck, I'm pretty sure I have an entire year of discoveries ahead of me and I don't even realize it. But whatever happens from now on, at least the starting point is here. As I mentioned before, and I cannot stress this enough, write down everything and practice every concept and task we did today, because all of the topics explained in this video will be the base for all of the upcoming mods and projects people might be interested in. Patience is key, especially with someone that is known for not being consistent when it comes to video uploads. If you found this video useful, you might as well join me, C, from CMOS, in my journey to make this game even better than it is. Like this video, share it with more people, join my Discord server to meet other crazy fellas and play games.
Do you not see the name? Do you not see the names that Z changed this shit to?
Nintendo DS.
In mod.
You have a guy's picture that's growing.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's, he holds it.
It's very small.
All I was looking for, I found her torso, but then I find that.
You suck.
No, you sucking. He was trying to sabotage my classrooms.
You're gay.
No, you don't.
Classroom.
What classrooms? You are there every single time.
Oh
You're trying to make my students
yeah.
learn things that are bad for them,
Yeah.
which they can't understand because they need to fucking learn subjects.
Yeah. So, on today's tutorial.
That was surely an experience. And thus, this video comes to an end. This small section is dedicated to my community, friends who are often active, and my all-time supporters. Thank you so much for everything. You guys are pretty cool. We will meet again in the next one. Enjoy a great day everyone. Stay healthy. But above all things, have fun.
Survive this.